SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Thinking about a new vehicle? Trust the team that's been taking care of customers for 70 years. The Cannon family has helped thousands drive home happy. Come take a test drive today and see why. And remember, when the smoke clears, nobody beats a Cannon deal. Nobody.
I'll pre-record on my count. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, roll A, fade up on A.
Southern Miss to the top. You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour.
All right, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to the SuperTalk Eagle Hour, broadcasting as always from the Southern Bancorp Studio here in Hattiesburg. Bob, Kelly, and Dima, full cruise here today. Opening segment of our show every day, sponsored by our wonderful friends at Movie Star Restaurant here in Oak Grove. Best country cooking buffet anywhere in Mississippi for the past 25 plus years. They're open 6 days a week at Movie Star Restaurant, every day but Saturday, open for lunch, and Friday nights from 5 till 8. We really appreciate the privilege of having a movie star on our show, and, of course, always enjoy the delicious food there. Well, there is a new guy in town. There is a new baseball coach in town. He's the new recruiting coordinator. He's going to help with hitters and defensive baseball coaching as well. His name is Kyle Cheesebrough, and we are happy to have him on the SuperTalk Eagle Hour and let all of our listeners around the state hear from our newest member of the staff. And welcome to Hattiesburg and Southern Miss baseball, Coach.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Looking forward to it.
Well, Coach, tell us how the road developed that led you onto the Golden Eagle coaching staff.
Well, that's a great question. Obviously, you have been in this state for as long as I have, or I guess probably not as long as I wanted to be, but had a great opportunity to learn about Coach Oz and Ladd and the guys in the building, and just being able to compete against these guys through the last couple of years, and just having stops all over the country, and landed at Houston this past year. Things didn't work out. An opportunity came open. Obviously, Travis Creel had a great opportunity to go be a head coach there, and it let the door open, and allowed me to kind of get a chance to come on back. So I was excited and thankful for Oz, and I'm excited to be here. You
bring a wealth of experience, 11 NCAA tournament teams you've coached, 4 College World Series that you've coached, played in some regional play as well when you were at Louisville, and some great programs in your background, Mississippi State, Louisville, Pittsburgh. What was it about this program that was attractive to you, Coach?
Well, just being down here for as long as we have been, right? And then, have to finally get in an opportunity. For me, I say this and very respectfully, like there wasn't a chance whenever we started at Mississippi State that we were not allowed to come down here and play in Hattiesburg against Southern Miss until John Cohen got out the door. And so it ended up working out where Coach Oz and Coach Lamonis were able to kind of work things out. We came down here and got our butts kicked and opened my eyes to being like, well, this place is pretty darn special. And so when the opportunity had, get a chance to coach here, I think I tell this story to the people that I've spoken to. I think I've recruited Oz. He didn't have to recruit me. So I was excited to get my footprint back here and be excited to be back in Hattiesburg.
Coach, this is Dio Mixon. Just wanted to welcome you to Hattiesburg as well. And wanted to ask you about your relationship with the players so far that you've been able to see. I know some guys are still away from summer, but I'm understanding some of the freshman players are on site and doing some camps with the kids and stuff, and just getting your first impressions of the freshman class that has been just documented as one of the best freshman classes in Southern Miss baseball history.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can tell you that, just being here as long as I have, I've had an opportunity to recruit some of these guys. So I have a personal relationship with a lot of the guys that are in the house here. And so, just having an opportunity to kind of be here for a couple days, we've been out on the road recruiting, getting a chance to see all the other kids that we got committed and working on the classes incoming. But, man, there's just, when you look at them, they're just big, they're physical, they're strong, they're fast. Having an opportunity to kind of really change the landscape here where, again, coming into having a great team and a roster that's coming back, but also adding these talented freshmen. I'm super excited for what's up to coming for this spring. So, yeah, I'm excited about it.
So they call Coach Ostrander Coach Oz. I'm assuming, Coach, that they're going to call you Coach Cheese, or what?
I hope so. I hope these kids don't have to know my first name. I haven't been called anything differently, but everybody's going to call me Coach Cheese.
Okay, so let's talk about coaching styles, because the two terms you hear most nowadays when it comes to college coaches is old school or new age. And we can break those down later to our listeners if you want, but would you describe yourself as more old school, new age, or a hybrid?
Well, yeah, I hope I'm a hybrid. I think you got to be – I like to use the word blended, right? And so, there's obviously – I'm not the youngest guy in the game. I've been coaching for quite some time, but I've been around some really specially, some real good old school ways. This is how it's been done. But now when you bring in all the new technology and you have all the things in kind of your hands, you have to be able to develop, and you have to be able to kind of be able to keep up with the new age stuff and be able to kind of speak the language of what these kids are learning and being in these facilities. So, but again, you also still have to play the game of baseball, right? And that's getting 27 outs, is getting 3 outs an inning, and that's being able to have timely hits and doing what you're supposed to do to score runs. And so, yeah, I think I try to do everything I can to be as well blended as I can and be able to speak the language for the new kids, but also be able to coach how I think they need to be coached. And so maybe some people would say that's old school, but I like to use the word blended to make sure that we're kind of on both sides of the ball.
I've heard some of your colleagues say that the players appreciate old school approach. It's the parents nowadays that tend to like new age. Do you think that's a fair analysis?
I think so. Here's the one thing I always like telling kids and recruits, like, if you love this game and you want to be a professional, well, then you have to be able to be loved to be coached, and so you have to take some criticism, but you also got to make sure you love on them too, and so I guess that you could probably say that, but the best kids that I've always been around, they want to be coached, they want to be developed, they want to hear the truth, and when you speak the truth, then you get their, then they be able to start learning how to trust you, and once you get trust, then the doors are open, and that's whenever you see these guys take off and have success.
Coach, obviously being the recruiting coordinator is vital to the program, and I know you haven't been here long, but kind of give us a view of what generally speaking will be your recruiting pitch to prospective players that you'd like to see in this program.
Sure. Well, I mean, they have an unbelievable footprint here already. I think that's the one thing that made me very much attracted to Southern Miss was, they have their niche, they have the pocket of where they want to recruit, they got great relationships. The kids obviously love being here. The retention rate is unbelievable. It's at the highest of I think almost any other program in the country. Being able to take care of your kids and be able to keep the talent inside the building, and then also being able to develop, right? I think that's the one thing that you see across this landscape is, the kids, they get to here, they're obviously very talented, but when they leave, they're obviously better. And the proof is in the pudding, and that's just being able to be around the coaches that are already in the building. Obviously, we're super talented. I love the roster, what's coming back, but, that's a test for telling you how good the coaching staff is here, and being able to develop the guys that are in-house, and then you're just trying to do everything you can to, bring the best and highly ranked talent that is possible that you can get, to come in here in the Southern Miss. I think this is a special place. I think everybody else, the people here in the state know that, but as you go out and you start recruiting, I think they've been able to put their footprint out there to where now the world knows how good Southern Miss is. So, yeah, we're excited to kind of move forward and get after it and get the best kids that can get in the building.
I was going to ask, Coach, and you guys may not have decided this, but are you going to coach third base next season?
We haven't talked about it yet. I've done it for a long time. I would like to, just because I've done it forever. I don't know. We haven't really gotten there to where,
sure.
What does Ladd want to do? But, I would not be opposed to turn it down if it's an opportunity for sure.
Hey, let me ask you one more quick question about recruiting before we hit the break. Is there a geographic footprint that you guys are going to target moving forward, or is there really no footprint per se that you would not be afraid to go into and recruit?
Just with being kind of with my background and being here, obviously I've been very nationally and kind of been able to kind of be all over the country now. Southern Miss has also done a really good job on keeping in-house state kids being here. Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Louisiana has obviously been very good to us. Now, could we go out a little bit further, go to Texas, Florida? Sure. I think what has happened through the years of just having the success, being on national television, hosting regionals, all those things have been able to attract kids that are obviously, maybe a little bit more farther out than we're used to, but maybe now it becomes more of a destination spot. So, yeah, I think that's just kind of the landscape that kind of holds itself, and see if there's a kid out there that wants to come to Southern Miss, or maybe we go find them. I think that we can do that, but we won't not forget about, just what has been in this building and what has been obviously successful for us, and that's been pretty much local grown kids.
All right, Coach. I know you've got a lot of College World Series experience as well. So if you can hang on through a short break, I've got a couple questions I'd like to ask you about that. I think the guys may have another question or two. Is that good?
Sure, that's great.
New baseball coach and recruiting coordinator Kyle Cheesebrough on the SuperTalk Eagle Hour. As we head to the break, our good friends at Forest Health remind you that keeping up with your favorite team, the Golden Eagles, is always fun. But you're the most important player. Get an annual physical. Be sure your health is as good as it can be. Forest Health can help you with expert medical care closer to home. ForestHealth.org. We will be right back.
Big news from Robinson Electric Supply in Laurel. We've moved. You'll now find us directly behind our old building, right by Sawmill Animal Hospital. We're still your trusted electrical distributor, carrying everything from conduit to tape. And don't forget our full line of Milwaukee tools. Whether you're a contractor or a DIY pro, stop by the new Robinson Electric Supply at 1222 West 6th Street and see what's lighting up Laurel. Robinson Electric Supply. New location, same trusted service.
The Eagle Hour. Southern Miss to the top.
All right, welcome back. Super Talk Eagle Hour on the air for a new week from the Southern Bank Course Studio. Eagle Tire West sponsoring this segment of the program. Matt Warren and his great family invite you to see them for Goodyear products and other major tire brands, full service for your car or truck. They do air conditioning work now. They've got an air conditioning technician there. So if you got some AC problems on your car, Eagle Tire West could be the answer. Eagle Tire on Hardy Street, Eagle Tire West, they're great Southern Miss supporters. As is Genesis of Hattiesburg, the official auto dealer of our program. Genesis sedans and SUVs are all at Mississippi's exclusive Genesis dealership, Highway 98 West in Hattiesburg. Bob Kelly Dema in the studio with you today. Coach Kyle Cheesebrough on the phone with us. Coach, you've coached in 4 College World Series, 2 with Louisville, I believe, and 2 with Mississippi State. Two-part question.
Okay.
Explain, if you will, just sort of relay to our fans and our listeners just how difficult it is for a team to make it to Omaha when you consider there are 300-plus teams. And how do you think that background and that experience will help the coaching staff get the Golden Eagles back to the Final 8?
That's a great question. Been very fortunate and very blessed to be around some obviously very talented players. And sometimes, that's a very difficult kind of fine line question because, there's been some very talented players. There's been obviously some very talented coaches who have never had the opportunity to even get a chance to play in Omaha. And so, just from experience and being a college baseball coach for as long as I have, I think the one thing that I always go back to, it's not about, really about who you're playing, it's when you're playing, right? And so some teams they get hot at the right time or something happens, something clicks, and, man, they just go on a tear. And so, the first time that I had an opportunity to go to Omaha was in 2013, and we had to go play the Super Regional down in Vanderbilt, which I think you could probably argue that was still probably the best team to ever be assembled in the SEC. And I know for sure it was Vanderbilt's best team, and they don't even get an opportunity to go. We go down there and beat them 2-2 and few. And so now we were hot and we were playing great, and so I think there's a lot to be said about that. It's like, you're you're just trying to get in here and try to be able to help motivate and keep the guys going. Obviously, there's a ton of talent in this building, and you just want them to be playing their best baseball at the best time, right? That's at the end of the year. We're right there at the doorstep. I know what happened last year, but you're just hoping that you get an opportunity to keep going there and they get to be able to break through the door. So, yeah, I think they're very blessed, and I think the next period of that is just trying to you gotta break through the door somehow and just you get there. Hopefully you're playing right and you make the right pitch, you hit the ball in the cap, and good things happen.
Two Sun Belt examples of that. Tell me if I'm wrong, Coach. This year, Troy. Last year, Coastal. Being hot at the right time of the year is what I mean.
Correct. And just they're playing their best baseball at the right time. Some teams start off the season hot and fade out and fizzle out, maybe an injury here or two. You're just hoping that everything kind of lines up and allows you to kind of have the motivation or the energy. Who knows what it is? Sometimes just something clicks and things get going and off you go.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about something that Jim Leland, the former Tigers and Marlins manager, said at one time. He said, I don't mind managing and coaching confident baseball players. He says, I have no time for arrogant baseball players. When you talk about developing a team chemistry, what's the difference between confidence and arrogance?
And again, you're saying that is a great question because it's a fine line. Some people would say that some kids who have confidence have arrogance, right? Well, you can't. Some players you have to reel them back a little bit. Some players you got to kind of kick them in the butt and keep it going, right? And so that's the typical piece of how hard baseball is compared to so many other sports. It's a game of failure, but also, how do you be able to keep your confidence when you go into a stretch where you don't get a hit for the weekend? And then you got to be able to kind of get back in the box and be able to still have that confidence that you had like you're the best hitter on the field. And so it is a fine line that you have to be able to walk whenever you're trying to kind of keep these guys in the direction that you want them to keep going, right? And so I think that's where coaching takes over and allows these guys to obviously I think maybe that's the number one strength that Coach Oz has is that, just get these guys to keep moving forward, but not losing their ability to not feel like they're confident enough. So again, I think that's just being able to come back to what I said earlier in the conversation was when you are able to win over trust with your players, then you see those guys take off. And hopefully, like I said, if we're playing right and how we're supposed to be playing at the end of the year, then let's hope that gives us enough confidence that we can take off and play our best baseball down the stretch and get us back to Omaha.
But I'm guessing that as many years as you've been in the biz now, that is something that you can sniff out pretty quickly is confidence versus arrogance.
You see it. Sure. You see it. Again, like I said, we get older, but the kids, they kind of stay the same age. So like I said, whatever your parents used to tell you, like I wasn't born yesterday. So you kind of see it. Obviously, the kids are changing a little bit, but, we feel like we got a good group of guys here. And, we just want to be able to keep them on track.
And final follow-up before Dima takes over here. to the guys that are arrogant, or just generally speaking, Coach, for any player that might want to play for Southern Miss that is arrogant, what's your advice to them?
You're rolling this down, aren't you? Doubling down, Kelly.
Yeah, it's a good question. This game is, I say this, and I think as we know this game will humble you. And we don't know when it's going to humble you, but it's a very humbling game. And so, again, I think if you play with too much arrogance, then this game will end up kind of getting you pretty good. And so, it's our job as coaches, our job as recruiters to try to find that fine line to where, we don't want to play, we don't want to play them too fast, but you don't want to be too slow. Somehow you got to find yourself in the middle and see if that's the guys that end up being what you're looking for.
Coach, I wanted to ask you, I know you're specializing this for Southern Miss in the recruiting aspects, but I know you're going to be helping a little bit with hitting as well. Getting Davis Gillespie back on this roster, I just think we haven't been able to document just how huge that is for this roster moving forward.
Well, you got your 3-hole, right?
Yeah, right.
So I think that's the positive. When you sit down there, obviously it was hard before the draft, and you're kind of going through it, and you weren't sure what his angle or what he was trying to do, and then had the opportunity to get him back in the clubhouse. I mean, it sets you up, right? So, Again, when you're putting down a lineup, when having Gillespie there in the 3-hole, it makes things go a little bit longer.
Sure.
So I know that was obviously something for us that we were super excited about, getting him back just because of, him having a great year and then getting them, for one more. I think it's going to be, fantastic for our offense.
And returning 3 All-American pitchers.
Yeah, pretty special. Again, I just when I sat down with Coach Oz, I know how excited he was and how excited the guys were. I had a chance, just to speak to him briefly, obviously, through the last couple of weeks here. And so I know how special they are. Again, you're looking at a pitching staff that's got an opportunity to really be, to set ourselves up pretty good for the weekends and moving forward and keeping those guys healthy and getting a chance to get this thing going again.
Well, Coach, we really appreciate you coming on the show. I guess they've warned you about us down there at the field office.
I might have heard a thing or two of you guys.
We weren't that bad, were we?
No, you guys are great.
Hey, Coach, we're really glad you're here and really, really grateful that you share your time
And
with
he's
us today.
coming into a situation where nobody has any expectations at all.
Very humble fan base that doesn't expect anything, Coach. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, Coach, welcome to Hattiesburg, and you're welcome on the Eagle Hour anytime, sir.
Great, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, Kyle Cheesebrough, everybody. And there's another new coach in town. He's going to be on the show this week. We believe Wednesday, but definitely this week. And he was pretty good, a guy named Dustin Dickerson. And, I was thinking about this morning, Dima, because I know you cover the team really closely. I sort of think Dustin is going to bring back that edgy attitude that, is it fair to say, may have been missing on this year's team?
Well, maybe. You hope that he can coach and deliver that at the same time, right? And I think that's what you hope from him. And certainly it's awesome to see former players come back and coach the squad. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in the infield and things like that. It was obvious that last year they needed to be more athletic there, and getting a coach to specialize in infield production is certainly something that Oz is saying, listen, I understand that was one of our weaknesses last year. I'm going to bring somebody in who can help and just focus on the infield. How can we get more athletic there? He got more athletic players in the portal, and then he went out and brought back a player who was one of the best, arguably, if not the best, shortstop in Southern Miss baseball history.
Yeah, and probably nowhere to squeeze another year of eligibility for Dustin, huh?
I think his tooth hurts or something, right? Like he could probably get a judge down in Lumberton County, to give him.
Well, I'd be willing to pay for that.
Sure.
Lumberton County?
I don't know. Kelly.
Wherever, Kelly. As long as we can get him eligible.
Where did Trinidad Chambliss get it,
we don't care where the judge Yeah, from the county that Ole Miss is located.
Yeah,
Shocker.
in Whoville.
Shocker, right, that he voted to.
And the judge just happened to be an Ole Miss alum,
But for the record,
that was pretty lucky, wasn't it?
The world is full of coincidence, isn't it?
Lumberton is in Lamar County.
I know. I cover Lumberton. Shout out to the Panthers.
Okay. All right. Kyle Cheesebrough, everybody. I think that's a really positive, upbeat addition to
And
the program.
each year, the expectations just keep getting higher and higher with
What
these players they've got coming back. Oh,
What
yeah, I forgot.
expectation? We'll be right back.
I expect him to play Coastal.
Yeah.
You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour. The Eagle Hour. Southern Miss to the top.
Hey, we want to spend out a special thanks to Coach Kyle Cheesebrough for joining us for the first half hour. And, of course, they all come on this show first, and we're grateful to them for that. So.
Well, most do.
The vast majority, yes, yes. Some don't, you're right, but we don't like them anyway.
And they now sure don't like us. Well, you guys just said. So.
We love everyone, Kelly.
Yes, we are the world.
We are the world. Sing a couple bars.
We are
like
the
it.
children.
Please don't.
Oh, okay. Hey, DBAT sponsors this segment of the show. They probably won't after hearing that intro, but Luke Reynolds is a great guy, former great Southern Miss baseball player, really good baseball player. And the manager of DBAT, that is a state-of-the-art facility. Hattiesburg is so lucky.
Can I say something about DBAT?
Sure.
So yesterday, for those who don't know, we come out with 2 magazines a year, our baseball preview magazine and our football preview magazine. Yesterday, we did our photo shoot for our magazine with all the 10 area high school teams. We had it at DBAT's, and their weight room is unbelievable. So
Beautiful
I just want to
facility,
shout out to DBAT and Johnny, who's over there at the weight room, and then obviously Luke Reynolds, who sponsors this show. Just a tremendous facility. And my photographer said he'd never been in there, and when he went in, he was just like, "This is unbelievable."
Oh, it's unbelievable. We've been trying to get Luke on the show, but of course we left that up to Kelly, and that would probably explain why.
We should do a remote there, and Kelly take some cuts at.
Would you, Kelly? Would
couple
you
of
take
those
some swings at a
fastballs.
90-mile-an-hour sinker?
And we'll video it and send it to Oz, or we'll send it to Kyle Cheesebrough and see if he'll recruit you.
Yeah.
I'm on Medicare now. I can't do that.
And I'd like to see you run that 40 that Luke Johnson ran.
Yeah, where he about tore his hamstring off the bone.
Well, yeah, he did. Yeah.
Hey, when is your high school football preview at Hub City Spokes and HubCitySpokes.com available?
Well, that's what you call a plug.
I understand.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes to press August 10th. And so it should be out the next week or two after that. And once it's officially out, I will announce it on the show.
Did we get a free copy?
Sure.
Okay.
I gave you all a free baseball one.
You did. Yeah, you did.
So there is a football season coming. Because all we've talked about is baseball on the show.
Actually,
Which
Southern
is okay, I
Miss, Southern
guess.
Miss starts fall camp next week, so we got a lot of football coverage coming up.
What kind of comment is that? When is fall ball so?
No, I've just heard from some of our listeners going, "You guys are still talking about." But when you have a program,
I was going to say, when you have a program
Yeah.
like Southern Miss, is a top 20 baseball program,
Sure.
it's a year-round discussion.
Of course.
it is.
That is a great.
It
point.
is certainly a year-round discussion.
That's a great point.
and we do, starting the month of
We
August, when
cover all the sports.
we turn the calendar over this coming Saturday. It'll be August 1st, and that's when on Eagle Hour here we're going to be doing Sunbelt previews, interviews with.
that kicks off next week.
Yeah, that should be.
You got a ton of interviews too. Great interviews.
That was so much fun getting to talk to those guys.
And we'll be covering the 11-month basketball season here soon. It's pretty much underway now, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think their last summer practice is Thursday, so then they're going to be off for a couple weeks, then come back for, their camp right before the season starts, which is November 3rd, off the top of my head. So we're, 2.5 months away from basketball season starting?
Now, Kelly, you're going to get some soccer interviews later this week.
Yeah, I hope so. The soccer team is the first team of the academic year to get things going. They open actually August 12th, which is 12 days before they even go back to school. So the soccer season will be off and running, and then volleyball right behind them. And then football, when we get into full-fledged into the new academic year, 26-27. Can you believe that, Bob?
Yeah, it's hard to believe. But soccer, pretty quick here, huh?
Yeah.
New regime, too. New era of soccer. So
Playing in
it's going
this-
to be interesting to see how that works out.
Yeah, Coach Owens brought a lot of players over from William Carey, actually 3 of their best players, and obviously he had...
How'd that go over?
Well...
Dima's speechless.
Let's just say there's not a basketball game between the two schools. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but but I will say they should be improved for sure. And if you look at the schedule, historically, Coach Mo, who was the previous head coach here, always had scheduled those harder non-conference games. They'd play Auburn, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, really tough non-conference opponents, and then, they'd be 1-6 heading into conference play, and then, kind of down. This year, if you look at the schedule, there is a couple of those games, but they have a lot more favorable non-conference matchups, similar to what softball did in their preseason.
And you want to talk about
non-conference,
the toughness of athletes. I couldn't help but notice during the World Cup coverage this year that they were talking about how these players are going to deal with this heat in Seattle. It's 72 degrees, and I'm going, 72 is hot?
Yeah.
I said, come down here in the South and play with these.
I'm glad you brought that up. Let me just preface this by saying I have to admit I enjoyed watching the World Cup after you kind of tuned me, and my son-in-law has been on me for years about it. But I do have one question. Is it fair to say that many of the soccer players are kind of drama queens when it comes to being injured? Is that fair to say?
There was a lot of parodies on social media about guys, falling over, but that's part of their job.
Yeah.
That's part of the job, is to try to draw that foul if they can.
But that observation was correct, right? Maybe a little dramatic at times.
It would appear so, but I've never played at that
I
level.
haven't either, no.
So I'd imagine getting hit by any of those guys. They're pretty solid.
Yeah.
Might hurt just a little bit.
Yeah.
really don't
I
know.
would think it hurts to get hit with a soccer ball. They're pretty hard, right?
Yeah, and when you get hit with those cleats too, those are metal.
And they do
Bottoms.
have little
Shin guards.
Yeah, and when we would play broom ball, which is like ice hockey up in Iowa, we didn't have shin guards, so we would take
Broom ball.
certain magazines.
I'm sure we'll get a broom ball representee on this show eventually.
Broom ball.
We'd take magazines and tape them
What
around
the
our
hell
shin
is
guards.
broom
It's
ball?
just like ice hockey, except instead of sticks, you use brooms instead of a puck. You use a soccer ball, and you're not.
Wait,
on
what did you say instead of a what?
Instead of a puck.
Oh, sorry.
puck.
That's,
You use a soccer ball, and instead of skates, you're running around in tennis shoes on the ice.
I misheard you.
I don't
My
think
bad.
we've been a good influence on Dima, do you?
Yeah.
Especially you.
He had this halo the first day he was on the show, and now the horns are starting to come out of the back of his head.
It's all Kelly, too.
It certainly is.
And
It's
to
all
those
Kelly.
to those that might be listening, we do hear you. Yes, football is around the corner, and to kick us off tomorrow, Dima, we've got a rock and roll nationwide star going to be on this show.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
hear
we got
about that.
Phil Steele coming on the show tomorrow, so certainly you'd want to tune into that live. Hopefully, if you listen to our podcast, if you listen to this on podcast, tomorrow's the day to check out. You go to if you go on your phone, download the SuperTalk app, hit listen. Hattiesburg 97.3, and you can listen to it if you're not near your radio, like live. And this tomorrow will be certainly a show, if you don't already listen live, to listen live, because we're going to have on Phil Steele. He's obviously the writer and publisher of the College Football Preview magazine, 400 pages. They call it the Bible of college football, all of those things. And we're just really honored to have him on the show.
Is he the first guest we've ever had that has an agent? I believe it is.
Probably so.
I believe it is.
Well, Matt Wallner's got an agent.
Well, yeah, but we just call Matt. I mean, you had to go through Phil's agent. Now, the former coach here that's now the coach of the Browns, he's been on the show several times.
Todd Monken.
I'm sure he has an agent, but
I'm sure the former football coach here has an agent.
who would that be? You talking about Ellis Johnson?
I'm talking about Charles Huff. Did you see what Charles Huff said?
Charles Huff is already laying the groundwork to leave Memphis.
He said,
Unbelievable.
now, in 2 years, I plan to be a Power 4 head coach. That might be here at Memphis or might not be here at Memphis.
What is the athletic director at Memphis thinking? Who's invested?
He
all
already
this
let him
money?
fire everybody in the athletic department so he could put his own people there.
So he can stay there till he finds another job.
Yes.
This guy must be that good. I don't know. He must be, though.
Well,
but
I don't know.
Are you allowed to say anything that Mr. Steele has on record as what he expects from the Eagles this year?
Well, he had Southern Miss in the power poll, second to last in the country. So, so we were certainly going to
Wait a minute. You said country, not conference.
country. So we're certainly going to ask him about that. Yes, I know it was quite hard to watch, but yeah, he was very much like the media was when you looked at the top two teams in the Sun Belt, James Madison, and I'll bring the magazine tomorrow and we can all look at it before the show, and that way we can kind of just see what he had to say. But certainly want to ask him about the power poll because there was other teams that were in front of Southern Miss that I want to hear why Southern Miss is
I'm
below
excited
them.
to have him on the show. We're
Yeah.
really happy about that.
Yeah,
That's good stuff.
But based on that news and what he expects from Southern Miss, no wonder we're not calling him. He's calling us.
Well, I think the first question is this the only Sun Belt show that you've done?
How'd you set that up, by the way?
Well, I mean, I'm a likable guy. A lot of people know me.
Here we go.
He's the boy wonder.
Why do I set myself up for stuff like this, huh? Mo Baby and Yay Company. They're on Hardy Street.
Hey, they like me too,
I'm sure.
and they certainly like my money.
I'm sure they do. 2902 Hardy's full of himself today. Isn't he?
No
He
kidding.
must have got a little sleep over the weekend. Did you actually?
No.
No, okay. He's just delirious. Mo Baby and Yay Company, 2902 Hardy Street. Check out their Facebook page. Only Kelly would know the topping of the month, and it is.
Well, you're still in the summer months, so
That's your cue, Kelly.
strawberry.
There we go. Super Talk Eagle Hour podcast. You can hear it on Apple, Audible, Spotify. I can't imagine why you'd want to. Stitcher, TuneIn, or YouTube.
Sometimes.
Or everybody except Kelly can ask Alexa or Siri to play the Super Talk Eagle. Any luck on that front?
Sometimes you can sometimes ask them.
I've given up.
You've given up.
Yeah.
As we head to the break, MCS Home Center. We'll be out there next month. Home repair, home remodeling, home construction, everything you need for your next project, home, lawn, or garden. Available at MCS Home Center in Bellevue. MCS is Hattiesburg's new improvement home center. Local folks eager to help you. 7329 Highway 98 West. Hank Lott and his family, just the best. MCS Home Center. We'll be right back.
Big news from Robinson Electric Supply in Laurel. We've moved. You'll now find us directly behind our old building, right by Sawmill Animal Hospital. We're still your trusted electrical distributor, carrying everything from conduit to tape. And don't forget our full line of Milwaukee tools. Whether you're a contractor or a DIY pro, stop by the new Robinson Electric Supply at 1222 West 6th Street and see what's lighting up Laurel. Robinson Electric Supply. New location, same trusted service.
Southern Miss to the top. To the top. You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour.
Hey, welcome back. Fourth segment of our show every day, sponsored by our wonderful friends at Jewel Masters, Highway 98 West. That's where you go with all your old gold, coins, and silver, all your old jewelry, whether it be silver or gold. And you're looking for cash. Well, Marty Vick is the Pine Belt specialist when it comes to gold and silver buying. He'll give you top dollar for yours. You just won't get that much money anywhere else. It'll be confidential, it'll be fast, and you'll be doing business with wonderful local people, Marty and Cindy Vick at Jewel Masters. And if you're looking for a good place to cater, maybe your next church function or an office party or maybe even a birthday party, well, Kelly and I are sold on Dickey's Barbecue. We've both used it many times for catering. I've catered a lot of baseball weekends, Kelly, and I have never had anything but one compliment after another.
And you want to enjoy the fellowship of people around you. You don't want to have to worry about cooking and all that stuff. Leave it to the people who know how to do it every single day.
That's correct. And no better person than Justin Harris and all the great people down there. All right, it is confirmed. Wednesday, we will have the other new baseball coach on at 1 o'clock. Dustin Dickerson just responded to me. Dustin will be on the show at 1 o'clock. I, for one, am really excited to see him back in the baseball program.
That was a little Freudian slip, back on the team.
Yeah, back on the team. Yeah, exactly.
I know you wish that were so, Bob.
Yeah, well, I do kind of wish that was so. And yes, we will continue to cover baseball. And Dima, I think, just summed it up. I've had that same question asked of me. I get it. But Dima just summed it up. It is a national program, and it bears year-round discussion.
It really does. Because here's the deal. And not saying that football and basketball doesn't, because we do give those sports year-long discussions. We've had Jay Ladner on during the offseason. We had Blake Anderson on. We cover spring camp.
Coach Mandelbaum was just on.
Right. Like, we don't just negate those sports. But with baseball, because it's so nationally prevalent, everybody wants to know what's happening in that program every single month.
I agree.
You know, fall ball starts in probably, a month and a half.
Yeah.
You know what? 500 fans are going to be out there on day one.
And here's something else to think about. There's a school in Tuscaloosa that has for a long time had a really good football program.
UAB? That's Birmingham. I'm sorry.
Do you think they stopped talking about football?
I don't really think
after
I don't think they do. No.
Well, certainly not the teams that it's a year-round discussion almost every day. It's at football at the highest level.
Right.
There's no question about that.
So with baseball at the high level that's here,
sure,
that only makes sense.
Great point.
But
those are all very valid points.
National Football League camps are underway. Now most teams have hit the field, and I personally am pleased to report that the Bengals have had one practice and Joe Burrow unharmed.
Wow. Did he practice? Did he run around?
He was in bubble wrap.
Okay. Isn't the Hall of Fame game like next week?
It happens pretty quickly. That's for sure.
I believe it's next week.
Most of the first exhibition games are that middle weekend in August. But so the 12th of August.
I'll tell you what, and I know we're close to the Saints, and I just want to say this. I really feel good about the Saints this year. I think they're
going to be better.
You know, at most years I've been on this show, I've just been a depressed Saints fan, and every time we'd have Patrick McGee on with NOLA.com, or Times-Picayune, excuse me. I'd just be depressed of who they were going to throw out at quarterback. But, it seems like they're going to be someone to beat. It's really not that hard of a division either. Yeah. And I'm interested to see what Fernando Mendoza does at the Raiders, and there's a lot of interesting storylines with the NFL this year. New coach in Buffalo.
There's just nothing quite like NFL football either. It's just the gladiator sport of our time, I think.
So we'll see what they do this year to protect Patrick Mahomes and make sure that no penalties are thrown.
Well, they took a big step back last year. They were not the same team.
They didn't even make the playoffs.
They look like, to me, they have aged out a little bit.
I personally think the Rams and Seahawks are going to be just as good as they were last year.
Yeah, I think those are going to be two really fun.
And as much as I hate to say it, I was waiting for the time that the New England Patriots
that's not going to happen.
Would take a long period of time that they would be bad after all those years of being good. But that goes to what we've been talking about before. It's all about your organization.
New England will be a Super Bowl contender this year.
Do y'all think the overall product of the NFL, in my opinion, has gotten better over the last 5 or 6 years?
Yeah. Especially
last year, I just remember in the playoffs, there was about 9 teams who I thought had a chance to win.
And there were some great games.
Yes. I just don't remember it being like that.
And
5-10 years ago.
And what makes it even more remarkable is that the quality has gotten better, and the nitpicky little rules that players have had to learn, where you can't hit them here, you can't hit them here, you can't hit them too fast, you can't. The fact that you have to absorb all that information and make a tackle a certain way, and that you can do this, I just don't know how they remember all that.
People should never underestimate how intelligent young men in the NFL are. You got to be pretty dadgum smart to learn the playbook and be part of an NFL team.
And when you were playing at that speed, and you have to remember that I can't hit him above the shoulders, I can't leave my feet, because that instinct kind of takes over of you want to go in for the kill, right? Yeah. Well, you can go in for the kill, but you have to go in a certain way. And just to remember all those sorts of things, it's amazing.
Well, I never played at that speed, so I don't really know what you're
talking
about.
You mean at Holmes Community College?
No. I don't remember much NFL speed, no.
So the game at Holmes is a little bit slower.
Maybe a little bit slower than what the Saints play. Could be.
Well, let's see if we can't get Patrick on later this week.
We're working on it. All right, so we got Phil
we'll have to go
Steele.
Through his agent.
We got Phil Steele, right?
Yes.
We've got Dustin Dickerson. We're going to have Patrick McGee. We're off to a good start, fellas.
Yeah.
All right.
As we inch our way toward football season.
There we go. I hope you'll join us, and we're going to kick off our football preview next week. Until tomorrow, Southern Miss.
To the top.
Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let my spirit carry me. I want to fly like an eagle till I'm free. I go through the revolution.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.